Wondering why you're there, Dave? Well, very simple reasons, because this is what it looks like when you're actually doing a show. And this show is dedicated to helping you to have lots of skills and tools and techniques and abilities to be able to create your relationship with an audience, possibly more than you've ever done before. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you a ton of different tips all about how to influence people and get people to, well, do stuff. And if you're wondering, well, why should that be relevant? Well, think about the amount of politicians that really get people to do stuff that you disagree with, and you're wondering, how do they do that? I'll be sharing some tools and techniques on that in this show. I'll also be sharing with you what happens when you can hypnotize people properly and get them to speak the Martian language, maybe even get them married in a little clip from my hypnosis show from Monte Carlo. And also, I'll be sharing with you a ton of different ways, incredibly influential ways to get people to do stuff that they haven't even realized you're influencing them about. So I hope that interests you. I hope I'm influencing you to watch this show. This is Speak on Stage. And here we are broadcasting for you live from Dubai. And that's going out on Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, and other stuff I might not even know about. That's how crazy it is. I love your thoughts and comments, by the way. As always, if you say hi, I'll say hi back. And also, any questions you have about the influence of this is kind of important. I'll be sharing with you a ton of different stuff. Today's show is this: how to get people to do stuff. Sometimes stuff that they might not even want to do. And you're thinking, well, Dave, that sounds like manipulative. Well, in many cases, it really is. And if you're wondering what it looks like when you can do this properly, let me share with you some really cool stuff. I'm going to take you back in time to when I did a live hypnosis show at Monte Carlo, that's Monaco. It was in this incredible theater. But you'll see what happens when you use your words together and you get people to do incredible stuff. I can't tell you just how important it is to have these skills. These skills are not just about your ability to talk to an audience, they're also about your ability to do things like, for instance, if you wanted to become a better salesperson, if you're running your team throughout the world and you're not planning on going back into an office, or you've recruited new people to work with you, you need to be, you need to understand what everything you say does to people in their mind, in their conscious mind, their subconscious mind, and the way that they react to others. Now, if you want to see how powerful this is, let's take a look as we go into the video vault and catch up on that show in Monte Carlo. Two people who are getting married in the very first ever experience of intergalactic marriage. What's your name? Okay. You can speak English as well. So what's your name in English?
Tomasz.
Tomasz. Okay. What's your Martian name? And in Martian, what is it you're doing on Mars? Okay. Now, if I can get you to stand here, because I need you to translate for me. You have this beautiful Martian wife. What's her name?
Anna.
Calm down. So, you're going to get married. Obviously, how long have you been together? In English?
12 years.
12 years. And so, why did it take you so long to get married? Can you ask your wife, your wife-to-be, why it's taken so long for her to accept a marriage? What'd she say?
I know. She's using dialect.
Can you
ask your beautiful wife what it was that first attracted her to you. Le plus tard, je connais des locomotions. Don't have to translate that.
So there you go. That was me actually that was in Monte Carlo. But I know you're thinking hypnosis shows are all made up and they're all not true and all the rest of it. And you've got great reasons to say that. But I promise you, everything you see on a stage hypnosis show, certainly with the ones that I did, was completely true. You have no idea who's in the audience. You have no idea who's going to volunteer. I'll tell you a couple of things about it. 1 in 10 people are very susceptible to being hypnotized. We're always in a state of hypnosis all the time, whether we're listening to music, reading, talking to people, driving our car, going on the internet. We're in a trance state. That's what a trance state is. And so what I do as a hypnotist is I get people who I know are very suggestible, get them on stage, drop them into a trance state and suggest stuff to them, and that's what they do. So I did a gig in South Africa, did a tour of South Africa actually. This particular gig was a corporate one. And the show itself went okay, but I ended up with 2 people on stage in the end. 2 that I kept, the rest of them weren't very good, and I sent them back to sit down. And these 2 people, I did the whole show on 2 people. They're both really good, really funny, got on like a house on fire, and so on. Anyway, the show finished. I was a little bit disappointed I didn't get more people into that show, but we brought them off, and everyone just said, "Oh my goodness." I said, "Well, what is it?" They said, "Do you realize that those 2 people hate each other? They're in the 2 rival companies, and everything is about that company versus that company, and you had them get married on stage in front of everybody." So is that crazy? Is it true? It's 100% true. And this is what can happen when you learn how to influence and create incredible things with people. And I'm going to share with you today's business blueprints, and it's really effective. And so make sure you've got a pen and paper, or at least record this show. Give me your thoughts, your comments. If you think it will help somebody, then share it. And of course, I'd love to know that you're liking this show as well. This is Speak on Stage. So with that, let's have a look at what really matters when it comes down to understanding persuasion. There's a couple of factors that we're going to be looking at. In fact, we'll probably take a deep dive into this by looking at the influential factors in the case of looking at a movie. Now, this movie is a very short one, just a video about Robert Cialdini, or Cialdini, as some people say. I've never met him, but he's an incredible speaker and also thought leader. All about what makes people want to do stuff, how you can covertly get people to do stuff without them even knowing about it. And I'll be sharing with you 10 incredible ways of getting people to be persuaded to do stuff in a social circle that they have no idea that you're doing. And 99% of the time they do it, and you can go, ha ha, got you there. I'll do sessions on sales in the future. This one isn't about sales, but you can test them out when you're in a group of people, maybe colleagues or friends, and they're really effective as well. So with that, what's it all come down to? How do you know when somebody is going to be really engrossed in what you share with them? Well, these 6 factors are really important. There's a book called Persuasion by Robert Cialdini, which is really, really powerful. You should have a look at that as well. That tells you how to do stuff before you start talking to people, before you start influencing them, and how you can set up the scene before you get there. But meanwhile, let's have a look at those 6 important factors that can make a huge difference. And this is Speak on Stage. So with that, let me just check on it. Let me just check. See, this is live. This is what happens sometimes. Normally it's super slick, and sometimes it's not as slick as you want it to be. And that's because I wanted to press this button instead. Speak on Stage, and every now and again, there's a mistake, said the Dalek climbing off a dustbin. And that's a Doctor Who joke, just in case you didn't get it.
Orla has had a very good idea. The only problem is convincing stubborn Sam to get on board. How can she get him to support the idea? With the psychology of persuasion. The 6 Principles of Influence was created by Robert Cialdini. I don't know why he didn't try to make it an acronym, he could have called it Rascals, but anyway. He designed these principles based on years of research and based on actual evidence. Cialdini designed these principles to be used ethically, so they should not be used to mislead or manipulate people. If you're really clever, you'll use these to prevent people trying to manipulate you instead. Reciprocity. The idea is to be the one to give first. People don't like to feel indebted, so if someone has done a favor for you, given you a gift or helped you out in some way, you'd feel obligated to pay them back. Orla knew she might need Sam to support one of her ideas someday, so she helped him out when he was very busy on a previous project. She gently reminds him of this. Have you ever noticed that you have a much greater sense of duty to those in a position of authority? Think about it. If you were to trust one of these people to look after your bag while you pop to the loo, who would you choose? Uniforms, job titles, a connection to those in a position of authority and expertise can add a lot of weight to a request, which is why Orla has decided to frame her diploma and place it where everyone can see. Social proof plays on our insecurities and our tendency to do what others are doing. That's why we prefer to eat in busy restaurants and give money to a busker who already has a few pennies in the hat. When we see others doing something that we're uncertain of, it gives us the confidence to join in. Orla has already got Sophie and James, 2 people who Sam gets on quite well with, to back up her idea. After that, Orla mentions that Sam already showed an interest in this idea when she first floated it several weeks back. Remember? She does this because she knows that people have a deep desire to be consistent. So, since Sam already showed some commitment to the idea, he's much more likely to follow through with it. No matter how open-minded we think we are all more likely to be persuaded by people we like. Liking someone can be because they've paid us a compliment, because they're trustworthy, or just because they're similar to us in some way. Finally, Orla lets Sam know that she only wants a limited number of people on the team, because scarcity makes things more appealing. That's why we panic buy things that are only on sale for a short time. And that's how Orla finally wins over stubborn Sam. Without manipulating him, she used this technique to much more easily get Sam on board with an idea she truly believes is good and will do Sam good. Make sure you know your audience as well as Orla knows Sam, and use these principles ethically to achieve your ultimate goals.
So there we go. That's how influence works. And as I mentioned earlier, there's these 6 things here. Reciprocity, he said, putting his teeth back in, which is doing stuff for people and getting them to do it back. Commitment and consistency, so we know that you're always there. Liking people, so they like you too. Social proof, evidence that you can do it. Authority, to prove that you are somebody who knows what they're talking about. And scarcity. And talking about scarcity, let me share with you something which is my special training program, which I'm going to be removing soon, by the way. If you want to become an industry icon, you want to learn to do what I do, then it's an exclusive 5-day free mentoring course. And if you're interested in that, go to speakonstage.com. And from there, you will learn all about this course and also how you can do it too. And as I mentioned, it's only for a limited amount of time. There you go. You can see if you go to Speak on Stage, and it's got certain bits you can click on. You just register your details, and you can go on to the mini course, and it's all set for you. Just put the details in there as well. So there we are. But I'm going to be removing that because I'm getting really busy. It's strange because I've been in Dubai now for 30 years, and I've never experienced what we've been through. Nobody has. For the last year and a half, but we've been out of lockdown for about 9 months, and there's also that, which means that the entertainments and events market is coming back in. Normally the summer would be quiet. Of course, Ramadan's normally quiet because it's a religious month where things don't tend to happen, but it's coming great guns. A whole year's worth of activity is happening right now. So if you're looking to work with me and you want to go on that course, you have to do it soon because I'm getting booked up and it's very busy. Did you see what I did then? Yes, good. So when we're talking about all those things that make a big impact, your big influential factors, if you want to influence others, then you need to have a couple of things in the bag. You need to have empathy, humility, authenticity, honesty, and the final bit there, as I duck down, you can see it says be measured. People need to be able to see what it is that you've done. Again, a different way of looking at what we talked about there. But let's break down some other influential factors. These things are things that you can test out with people, and when you do them, they're very, very cool indeed. If you just join me, I'd love to know your thoughts. Make sure that you register on my YouTube channel to get access to this video and all the past videos I've made, and new stuff that goes up very exclusively first before it goes anywhere else. That's Dave Crane on YouTube. The details are in this link as well in the comments section. But meanwhile, grab your coffee and we'll do a deep dive into finding out exactly how you can influence people with 10 really cool experiments coming up next on Speak on Stage. So with that, let's look at 10 ways to get people to do stuff. Ridiculous stuff, or maybe, but you might find it useful. Write these down. Write these down because they're very cool things to do and test. And I know you're saying, but you're manipulating, Dave. I'm not manipulating. I'm just having fun, and it kind of get you what you want. And if what you're doing is helping people at the same time, then who's not to love it? All right, first one is this. Getting information from people. If you want people to reveal more than possibly they would do in any particular subject or any particular situation, maintain eye contact with them and say nothing. It's a very powerful sales technique. When you say, so what's stopping you from buying this? And then you maintain eye contact and say nothing. People feel the need to break the silence, and they break the silence based on the subject of what you're talking about. Now, here's what happens. You train them or they train you. So if you break the silence yourself, then they've trained you that they will not be bullied into answering questions. But if you can just bite your lip through that very uncomfortable split second or couple of seconds, somebody will talk. Now, the odds are if you've gone to visit them in their office, then they will feel the need to talk purely because of the fact that it's their premises and they've got to be a host. And so that can be very, very powerful at getting people to share with you stuff that maybe they didn't want to share, like why they're not buying the stuff. You can say, okay, you're not buying it, so what's stopping you? Next one is this, breaking the tension. If you've got a group of people all around and you're sitting there and it's a meeting and it's starting to get really uncomfortable, you can break the tension just by eating. You can eat, well, you've got to have food there. If you eat your pencil, you can look really weird. But by ordering food in, or by having a biscuit, or by taking a coffee and say, how's the coffee, everybody? It's a really good way of changing the way that people are, changing their state, and getting them to feel more relaxed. And then you can go back in again. But it's like you put a commercial break in to the middle of a conversation. And it's really useful to have. Number 3 is this, the stalker detector. Now, this is one that most people won't use, especially if you're in lockdown, because you know exactly who's following you around because it's members of your family. But if you're walking along, you think that somebody's following you, they're keeping an eye on you, and you're not sure what's going on. And you get to a busy place, like a bus station or a train station, or even just some kind of queue or a meeting, then if somebody's been staring at you, start to yawn. And it's really hard to not yawn. I remember years ago, and it's long before your time, there was a TV show, a movie starring Russ Tamblyn called Tom Thumb. And it had this plasticine character called the Yawning Man. And a sequence where he would yawn. And as a kid watching it, you start finding yourself yawning. It's addictive. And if somebody's paying attention to you, then subconsciously they'll start yawning as well. So if you want to find out if somebody is following you and they get to the same place as you, and you start yawning and they start yawning as too, at the same time, then that's maybe a really good excuse to run away, because they will run after you and will yawn at the same time. Number 4 is this one. Destroying earworms. You know a song that you can't get out of your head and you're hearing it all the time and it's really annoying. But it's really cool, but it's really annoying and you can't help it. It just keeps popping up. Maybe somebody else keeps singing it. Maybe it's on the radio all the time, but you're thinking it's really annoying you and I wish I could get rid of it. Well, here's how you do it. Sing the end of the song, even the fade out bit. Because your mind is reminding you about something that you find comfortable. something that you find that's popular and makes you feel a certain way. So therefore, it's just going to give you it back again until it gets to the end of a song, and then it will instantly go into the program. Right, the song's over. What's next? And then you get a whole new earworm to play with. How cool is that? But play the end of a song in your head, and then it goes away. All right, number 5, always agreeable. If you want people to warm with you and to warm towards you and want to do stuff with you and feel that you're a good person to have around, as they're talking, nod. And you start nodding together. When you meet people for the first time and they're talking, nod. Why? Subconsciously, it sends a message that you are the same as them. And when you get that, it makes a huge impact. When I do a stage hypnosis show, I spend 15 minutes talking about how your mind works, getting people to do some interesting experiments, scientific experiments, but at the same time, I'm looking for them to come on stage and trust me. When you're nodding, it gets that barrier to drop down and it makes you bond and it creates rapport. So nod with people. You can't do it on the phone, it's kind of weird. You can go, That's still a little bit weird. But certainly in your Zoom calls, nod in agreement. Let people know that you are there with them. Next one is this. If you want to get people excited and bond further and faster and create rapport instantly, listen to what they say, and they will have a buzzword that they repeat over and over again. That buzzword makes them feel comfortable. So when you say it, it takes them, certainly if they don't get on with you so well, but you use that word because you've picked up that they like it as a word, they'll start seeing you as them. They'll start seeing you as a reflection of them, as a friend, as a colleague, as a member of the family, as somebody who's close, and it will remove the barrier. Let me give an example because I'll tell you my buzzword. My buzzword is groovy. I say groovy because I used to do 70s nights as DJ Shaft. I used to do a thing called boogie nights where everyone dressed up in 70s gear. And I'd say, hey, I'm DJ Shaft. Come on, let's boogie. How are you feeling? Are you groovy? And stuff like that. Yeah, if you Google it, you'll probably find something, but not much because it was a long, long time ago. Big afro, leather outfit, James Brown. So if you find the term that somebody finds and test it with your friends, you know they use a word that's really annoying and it comes on again and again, you start using the word and see how much closer they get to you. It's really powerful. Next up is this, number 7, clearing a path. If you're in a busy street or in an airport or in a busy train station or in a meeting and you want to get from one side to the other and people won't move, look straight ahead and start walking. People will see your sense of purpose and they will shift. My dogs look at me all the time. They study my face to see if I'm in a good mood, bad mood, happy, likely to donate some more biscuits to the cause of being a dog. All those things. But they can tell and they can read my face as to what's going to happen next. Sometimes even I don't know, but they can get whether it's just time to stay away or come and see me. Same for when somebody acts determined. If they look like they're moving over there and they're focused on it, people will get out of the way. It's very powerful. Next up is this, number 8. Reduce the risk of conflict with somebody. If you're in a meeting where you've got to do some kind of win-win negotiation and get the relationship to work better, or you're going in and you know there's going to be a challenge between a couple of people, maybe if that person is you, sit next to them. Because it's really hard to have an argument with somebody when they're sitting next to you. It's not impossible, but you feel obliged to kind of make it work better. Whereas if you're across across a table from somebody and you're looking at them, confrontational all the way. You don't mind having a battle. They don't mind having a battle. It's like playing battleships. You said this, I said that. But when we're sitting next to you, you're never really sure what happens. It freaks them out. Just the same as when you look at the seductive relationships that you can create, sitting next to somebody that you like and breaking the physical barrier makes a huge impact as well. But that's kind of creepy now and possibly arrestable. But in the old days, hey, I'm saying nothing. Number 9 is this. If you want to play rock, paper, scissors, it's a really good way of bonding people or getting a decision made. So I'm not sure what we're going to do. Are we going to get pizza? Are we going to get, burgers? Are we going to order in a Chinese meal? Are we going to go out? What are we going to do? Let's do rock, paper, scissors for it. When you say rock, paper, scissors, make an expression of scissors. Why? Because the person who's choosing will probably choose scissors first. Now, I'm not saying it's a 99 to 100% guarantee, but they're more likely to choose scissors because it's stuck in their head and they've got to make a choice, and so it's just easier to go scissors like that. That was rude. I didn't mean it. But you get the general idea. So rock, paper, scissors, say scissors, and you choose to use the rock if they say scissors. Because you sharpen. Okay. If you've never played a game before, Google it. It really works. And last but not least, this is number 10. If you want to get the most out of people and get them to do what you want in a price negotiation, ask for more than you want. So for instance, if you're after $10, ask for $20. So then if they say, no, I'm not going to do it, well, what can you afford? This is a good phrase, write this one down. What's your maximum affordable investment? They say about $10. You say, oh, okay. So you get what you wanted. They feel that they've got a compromise and they've managed to save some money, and you only wanted that anyway in the first place. Really powerful way. Ask for more. Shoot for the stars and hit the moon, as they say. Go higher than you really wanted to go. Now, this is really important if you're going for a job interview or you're going for any kind of negotiation on finances. And being in the entertainment business, I'm always negotiating contracts and so on. When you use this technique, ask for more than you want. Not more than you want, more than you think that the price is going to be. Then compromise on whatever it's going to be, because they'll have a number in their head. So meet somewhere in the middle. You can usually do that. But once you've negotiated the price, don't bring it up again. Don't turn around and say, that was brilliant. I knew I was fantastic. Great. Can you pay me more money? Because you made a load of money out of it. No, that wasn't the deal. You agreed to a certain fee. At the end of your contract, when you renegotiate, yeah, you can bring all that stuff up. But at that particular time, no, you can't. That's your lot. So shoot for the star, hit the moon, and it works out really well. Here are your 10 points that I mentioned earlier. I'll just become a small mini me so you can take a shot of that if you want to. The 10 things: getting information, breaking retention, stalker detector, and all the rest of them. Take a screenshot of that and test it today. You might find it really useful for you. Cool? Excellent. So with that in mind, let's have a look at some other stuff and Speak on Stage. I love your thoughts, love your comments, and I'll tell you where you can catch up with me tonight. You're wondering, aren't you? Yep, okay, I'll put you out of your misery. Here we go. So in summary, if you want to know where to catch up with me and you want to join in our conversations, Clubhouse. Clubhouse is now opened up to Android, I believe, as well. It's being road tested for Android in the US, but I believe that it will be rolled out for other places. I'm not doing any of the other social media speaking ones. So I'm not on Twitter's Spaces, and Facebook's getting one, and LinkedIn's getting one as well, which is rather cool. Cheers. So if you want to catch up with me on that, and if you've not been on Clubhouse, then make sure you connect with me on Clubhouse. And that's me, Dave Crane. Look for the picture of the me, and then you can find it. Really simple. So with that in mind, we're going to leave you with a video in a moment all about how to really reinvent yourself. I hope you enjoy it. Love your thoughts. I love your comments, and also love to catch up with you. If you want to know more about your TV show, then catch up with me on this. Contact me directly. In fact, if you do what I mentioned earlier, which is go to this one, the Industry Icon program, it's got all the details on Speak on Stage, so you can find out how to start your own TV show, and you can broadcast like this as well. Really exciting stuff and really exciting times. So with that, remember, there are certain ways to really make an impact on people. And if you need to go back and watch this again, write it down, share it with people, and test it out. It's not by accident that politicians get to where they are and they influence people, and people don't even know. They just follow them because they've pressed certain buttons that people buy into. So maybe it's about time that you got that kind of superpower as well. So with that, I'll catch you soon. Look after yourself. Back tomorrow with Industry Icons, where I interview another superstar. But meanwhile, look after yourself. It's Speak on Stage. I'm sorry, I didn't explain. I tried to motivate you and move you forward, but quite clearly all I brought you was pain. Tried to share some ideas and I didn't do enough to show you what I really meant, because it left you feeling confused, and afterwards your brain was spent. And I should have used smaller words, and I should have been more than enough, but somehow it ended up making you feel bad, and it was kind of tough, and you wanted to have me stop and go back again, and maybe you weren't paying attention, and then you feel like you've stayed at school and you've been naughty and you're in detention, and you want to get me sharing with you more stuff, and I gotta do more for you. And you don't want to pay for it because, you know, I could get this off the internet too. But my friend told me this, and you know, the internet's the same kind of stuff as you, but I don't see why I should pay or I should make the effort, because I want it to come in a bottle as well. And if I get it in a bottle, I get it in a pill form, I'll never have to do much work. But it doesn't work that way. None of it does. If you want to get something out of life, you've got to get off your ass and move. You've got to look around and see where you come from. You got to make a decision. Where are you going to go? And how do you think they get there, all those stars? How do you think they get there, all those people who turn around and say, I'm amazing, I'm a Kardashian, I'm on the front of a newspaper, I'm on the front of a website, I'm an influencer, I'm a celebrity, I'm super rich, I'm super powerful? Do you think they all got it for free? Well, some did, and some didn't. Some worked their asses off, and some still do. And some people wait, and some people complain, and we don't realize how easy it is, and that might be you. One day won't matter, we'll have no time left, and people will say to you, did it matter to you how hard you worked? How many people helped you? And the answer will be no. All that matters is, what did I get out of it? And the best way to judge is that smile you have right now, or that frown that won't go away. It's your choice. It's your life. And for me, yeah, I'm gonna play.